What is going on, guys? This is Quackermaster, finally back for another video. So, in my last video, I made a video of all of the roller coaster POVs at my own park and theme park Tycoon 2 called Wonder Kingdom. And, what I said in the description is that I will make a tour video of my full park. It was originally going to be last weekend, but I had recording errors, so I'm sorry for the delay. So that's why I'm making it today, because my recording errors are fixed. So, after the intro, I am going to go into my theme park and start the tour. Alright, here we are at the famous entrance to Wonder Kingdom, and let's take the tour. Alright, so when you enter, you're here with this classic midway. To the right when you enter is a Kingdom Marketplace, where you basically get all of your souvenirs. I'm sorry for the mess, by the way. And then here's a little flat ride. And then there's two little food courts across from each other. And at the end of this first midway is a swing ride that goes high enough that you can see the most of the park. And then to the right of that is the mini version of that swing ride. So now we could go either left or right. I usually like to go left first. This is an Enterprise. And then when we go to the left, we go to our first area called Adventure Bay. So when we go to the right is Seafarer's Splash, which is a log flume. So there are two log flumes in the park. Seafarer's Splash has the bigger drop, and then the ride with the smaller drop we'll see later. So this is the entrance to Seafarer's Splash. And then when we go here, there's a little spiral slide. And then this is the entrance to our first roller coaster, Oceanic Fury. It is a family launch ride that's actually pretty long. So I think that's cool. And then you can see more of Seafarer's Splash when you go here into Mystic Mountain, which is our next area in the park. Sorry, that was my mistake. So anyways, when you go left, you can see Splash Rocket, which is a ride that takes you up, backwards, and then you drop into the water. So I think that's pretty cool. And then right next to it is a little flat ride. And then this is rare at a theme park. It is a hedge maze that I built called Goblin's Grove. And there are questions in the maze that can help you escape. Like, what is the name of this park? And of course the answer is Wonder Kingdom. And then there's a little splash pad here. And then when we go this way, this is the exit to our next roller coaster, Dragon's Flight, which is a suspended swinging coaster, meaning the carts swing and the track is above you. It's actually not that intense if it were in real life, but I still think it would be pretty fun if it were in real life. And now, to the right is one of the entrances to the park's monorail. There are two entrances to the monorail around the park, and this is one of them. And then, as the sign says, there is more stuff this way. So there are two separate paths that lead to different stuff. We're gonna go this way first because it's pretty much a dead end. There are just two entrances to rides. So there's Raging Rapids, which is a river rapids ride, and then Crystal Cove Expedition, which is a roller coaster but is also a log flume. There it is right there. You can see the log flume part when it's in the water. I think that's pretty cool. So that's this path. And now the path right next to it is the long path that leads to our next area in the park. and the entrance to that area is all the way over there. It is called the Midwest. I just like to give it a classic country theme. So when you enter, and straight ahead is another roller coaster called Viper. And then we're gonna go left again. There's a burger place. And then there's a kiddie ride that is not a roller coaster, but built from a roller coaster track. And just at the end of this path is Firehawk, which is a giant swing ride. And then now we're gonna go over there to the back of the park. There's Viper again. And here is a little balloon ride. And then coming up with the entrance on the left is Thunder Run Mountain, which is the smaller drop of a log flume at the park. Well, it's the second log flume that has the smaller drop. And then to the right of the entrance is a splash zone where you get really close to the drop, and as I imagine in real life, you get splashed. So I decided to build that to imagine what this park is like in real life. So anyways, at the end of this midway is a cinema, and now we are going to the Extreme Zone. This is my favorite area at the park because, in my opinion, it has the two biggest coasters. There's also a haunted house here. And now, this leads to the two entrances of the two biggest coasters. There is Steel Pilot, which is a hyper coaster, and then there is Metallicus, which is a hybrid coaster. And then this path just leads to a roller coaster I made to prank my friends, so it's not really included in the park, but this entrance is one of the entrances to the Wonder Kingdom train. There are, I think, 3 stations around the back of the park. So I'm actually going to pause the video, and I'm gonna wait to go to the next station, and I will be back with you guys when I get there. Alright, we are back. This is the next station where I got dropped off from the train, and now we are at the very right side of the park, actually. So now we are going to go on this very strange bridge to the next area in the park. You can see that there are new path textures now, like metallic. And then straight of us is the Action Zone. It's a pretty small area with just a few things. This is a pretty cool floor. So we just have a pizza place, and then 2 rides. To the left is the entrance to Impulse, which is the big blue and yellow coaster. And then to the right is the entrance to a very intense flat ride. And that's it for the Action Zone. So now we are going to go this way into Kittyland. So we're actually in, like, the back area of the Kittyland, because the main entrance is, like, right over there. So yeah, there's a kid's carousel, and then this is the entrance to Twilight Mountain Express, which is the most intense kiddie coaster, where you go into Twilight Mountain. That's probably one of the coolest rides, actually. And then there's a small drop tower. You can't really see it because it's nighttime and the color is brown. And now we are going to the main part of Kittyland. So first we have Little Dragon, which is the smallest kiddie coaster. We have Teacups. We have Red Baron, which is a plane ride. We also have Ice Cream, specifically in the Kittyland. And then this is Killer Whale, which is the purple junior coaster you see in front of us. And then finally is just a little kid's car ride. So that's pretty much it for Kittyland. This is the main entrance to Kittyland. And then, as you can see, when you go to that path there, you're pretty close to getting back to the Midway, the main one, when you enter. And then there are two separate entrances to two different areas. So first we're going to go to Serenity Gardens. This is probably the smallest area in the park. But here you can see the park's carousel. Yes, this is the main carousel. I just don't know why I decided to put it in a specific area. But to the left is Zen Garden, which is a walkway. And I am going to show you guys this. So we have a little tunnel, and then there's a fountain with the statue of me, because I am the owner of the park. But what's pretty interesting is that you exit into the dining area for the restaurant here in this area. It's called Cedar Lodge. And what's also interesting about this restaurant is that, there's this long hallway that just takes you to the food shops, which is pizza, burgers, and drinks. So yeah, if you want to enter it outside, this is the entrance, and then there's the dining area. So that's pretty much it for Serenity Gardens, and now we are going to go to Techno City. So I just decided to add bathrooms here. And then this is Galactic Racers, which are two dueling top hat coasters, and hence the name, you race. Wait, I want to show you guys this real quick. So what's pretty cool is that you can see this little building here. You can actually go inside of it, and it's like a spectator station. So I think that's pretty cool. I just decided to sneak through the entrance and the exit. And then there's a very fast spinning flat ride here. This is a small slushy shop. Another calming flat ride. And then a little flat ride that takes you upside down, actually. And then this is the entrance to the second coaster at Techno City, which is the more mild one. It is a spinning coaster called Robotic Revolution, and it is that small blue and white coaster. So I think that is pretty much it for Techno City. And now we are going to go straight back towards the Midway. And this is a VIP only lounge. I'm gonna go in it anyway because I'm the owner. Yeah, so you have seating and a fountain. And then this is the other entrance to the park's monorail. So yeah, there's one here and the other one in Mystic Mountain. And then when you go that way, it leads back to the first Midway. But we're gonna go left to a theater, which there are no actual performers, but I decided to build it anyway. It's called Saloon Shows. And that leads to the final area in the park called Forbidden Frontier. To the left is the entrance to Rough Rider, which is a wooden coaster. Sorry, that was my mistake again. Why do I keep doing that? So yeah, that's it right there. There's a little pirate ship. And then the final ride is a drop tower. And then there's also a coffee shop. And then this is the main entrance to the Forbidden Frontier, which is closer to the Midway. that over there goes back to the monorail and the entrance to the theater we walked through. And then this is the entrance to the Ferris wheel. And then finally, that takes us back to the main midway. And then when we go this way, we go back to the entrance. So, that is it for the tour. I hope you guys enjoyed it. And I will see you in the next video on Quackermaster.